heard Riri Williams was a genius.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
So, the trailer for Ironheart just dropped a few days ago, and after watching it, I can't help but ask, does Marvel even care about this show? Because up until now, they've treated it like a half-forgotten stepchild. No marketing push or no hype, no poster blitz, absolutely nothing. And now that we finally have a trailer, it only raises more questions than answers. Like, why did they sit on this show for 3 years after filming wrapped in 2022? What exactly were they waiting for? Or better yet, what were they worried about? Let's rewind for a second. Just about 3 weeks ago, I uploaded a video wondering why Marvel was being eerily silent about a show that was only 2 months from release at the time of me uploading that video. No teasers, no Comic Con showcase, not even a tweet with a vague silhouette. It was weird to say the least. And now we know this thing's been sitting in a vault for 3 years. That's not typical. That's not even COVID delay levels of normal. We're not sure if this will help us or hurt us territory. When a company shelves a product for this long, it's usually a sign they don't really believe in it. But let's talk about the why. Why is Ironheart such a tough sell? Well, for starters, Marvel is trying to launch a brand new hero without the kind of comic book foundation that made Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor so successful. Riri Williams in the comics was never widely embraced. Her debut was rocky and her characterization hasn't really done her any favors. Think about Tony Stark's origins. Thrown into a cave, captured by the terrorists, forced to build weapons for killers. He builds his way out and he becomes Iron Man, scarred and humbled and changed. It's a clean, compelling arc. Meanwhile, Riri Williams is driven by a schoolteacher saying she can't be like Tony Stark. That's not trauma, that's a chip on the shoulder looking for a reason to exist. And the irony is that she basically provokes the teacher into saying it just so she has an excuse to feel slighted. That's not character motivation, that's just fanfiction level adversity. And here's where Marvel's insecurity really kicks in. They keep repeating in interviews that she's not taking Tony's place, she's her own character. If you have to keep saying that, it probably means you don't really believe it, or worse, you're terrified that the fans won't believe it. This reminds me of other Succession struggles in pop culture. Korra following Aang, Boruto following Naruto. The same trap keeps happening. Writers think if they make the new hero more powerful and more skilled and more confident than the legacy hero, fans will love them. But that's not how it works. When Aang or Naruto struggled, failed, or suffered, it made their victories meaningful. When Korra shows up already bending 4 elements, backflipping over everyone, you get resentment, not respect. Same thing here. If Riri shows up building suits better than Stark without any of the trauma, loss, or growth that made Stark relatable, fans won't see her as worthy. They'll see her as a shortcut, and no one really likes shortcuts. But back to the trailer. Surprisingly, it does raise one interesting possibility: her relationship with the Hood. Now that caught my attention. For those who don't know, the Hood is supposed to be the villain of the series. But here we see them striking up what looks like a friendship. That's either a huge red flag or a potential goldmine for character development. If done right, this could finally give Riri the arc she needs. Being betrayed by someone she trusts, learning the hard way that ideals aren't enough, and actually getting humbled. That's the kind of growth her character desperately needs. The Hood himself is a strange, hilarious villain in the comics, part street-level thug and part magical artifact thief, and all-around chaotic wild card. If Marvel leans into that weird energy, this show might accidentally become interesting just by the virtue of how bizarre it gets. I already went deeper into the Hood's insane origin in my earlier video, so if you haven't seen that yet, just do yourself a favor and check it out. It's really funny. But here's the problem for me. Marvel's track record with their Disney Plus shows hasn't exactly been a stellar story for me. Secret Invasion was a really horrible show. Echo came and went without even making a sound, and even Daredevil Born Again was so flawed they had to bring in new writers halfway through, which just makes the entire show feel half baked. So it's really hard for me to be optimistic about Ironheart, especially if Marvel itself is afraid to promote it. But am I optimistic? No, I'm cautious. I'm guarded. I have been burned so many times before, and I refuse to get excited over a studio that doesn't even seem excited about their own product. So, will Ironheart be good? Oh, maybe. There's a glimmer of potential that I'm seeing. A chance, but it's going to take a lot more than flashy tech and forced confidence to make me care. She doesn't need to be better than Tony Stark. She needs to be real, flawed, gritty, and grounded. And if the show can deliver that, well, we might have something worth watching here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, it's time for a goodbye.